How's it going, everyone? It is Monday, March 4th, 2024, and this is the video for today. Let's start first with our longer term market bias. It does need to be said at this point that we are bullish on a longer term. We are aware of a couple things happening fundamentally. In China, we're looking at the narrow concentration of stocks. Those are signs to watch out for. But in general, the price action, the long move up, the shallow retracements, good volume, and the decent economic news coming out, I'll say, all favor good signs. We're in a high interest rate environment. The economy is still strong, and we are still chugging higher. But that being said, we are aware of some new events coming out this month. We have ISM services coming out on tomorrow. We have the unemployment report coming out on Friday. We have some CPI the week after. I believe it's on the 14th. FOMC statement on the 20th. So some economic news that you need to account for when making your trades. Now, the main thing that's been on my horizon is the FOMC statement. The chance of a rate pause is very high for this meeting. It's 98, 97%. So that is priced in with a very high degree of certainty. What the market is looking for is any guidance on future rate cuts. In my opinion, the Fed has remained a pretty hawkish stance. As long as the economy is doing well, they don't have any reason to cut rates. If the economy does start to slip a little bit, does start to falter on the US side, they might signal a rate cut, and that could have a bearish tone, as that could indicate a loss of faith in the economic strength and a potential recession. But on the flip side, the market does like some easy money. So if the economic numbers continue to remain strong and the Fed starts to ease some rate cuts, then it should continue to accelerate the economy over here and accelerate the move that we're seeing right now in the market. It'll add some more fuel to it. So my personal bias going into it is there seems to not be a lot of new information that the Fed is going to say in this meeting that they haven't said before, unless they give a certain definitive timeline of when they plan to make the first rate cut. The market has a 85% price in chance of a rate cut happening in the July meeting. I am personally not as sure, to be honest. I don't really make those bets, but I do know that when the market was optimistic about the rate cuts, Fed splashed some cold water, market rallied. We had some mega cap tech, that's true, but we rallied and we continued to march higher. So I do believe that if the Fed still maintains a hawkish stance and the market doesn't like that shock, we will see buyers come up and scoop at that level because that's what they've done before. I don't see a lot of new information coming out. I could be wrong. I'll see how my thinking aligns with what Pete or Hari are thinking about, but those are my thoughts on a fundamental basis. Let's look at the market on a shorter term basis. After this NVIDIA gap up, we pulled back and now we're in the next leg higher. After a big day of gains yesterday, it would be very unlikely that we see back-to-back bullish trend days. It's much more likely that we pause. I mentioned in the last video that if we're able to hold this level for 1 or 2 days and then inch up higher, that would be the best type of situation. It shows that all the gains have been preserved. Buyers are here meeting profit takers. The price should be driven down, but it didn't get way too overextended like it was here. Nice pop up over here, bullish flag. We're still well within the range. Go sideways for a little bit, and then we get our next move higher. So still bullish on those fronts. Two things we're watching out for here. First is if this move starts to accelerate really, really fast, which is unlikely, but if it happens and it gets way too ahead of itself, we could see a buying climax. We break through the upper end of this range. To me, somewhere around this 517, 518 level, even 520. Get to around here pretty quickly this week. SPY makes maybe a 2% move in a week, then we might see, we're going to be careful. We're going to take profits on our swings. We're going to watch for any bearish hammer or bearish engulf or some sort of gap up reversal that fills in the gap on heavy selling pressure, stacked red candles, heavy volume, intraday. That would be a sign that we have a buying climax, and this could get pretty nasty. However, if it doesn't happen, we keep grinding and riding up higher. So we have to factor in the time for this move to happen. The other thing is what could potentially turn this bearish, right? Technically, we would need to see a deeper retracement, right? So far, we've had pullbacks at each level over here, but a deep retracement, excuse me, would be very, very nice for the bears, I'll say. And it would show us that there is some selling pressure. We get a little bit more neutral on the move up, and it's more likely that we see a double top. Now, we're not expecting a deep retracement here, but we're watching out for anything that could potentially cause that in the future so we can reduce our risk exposure. To me, swings should be long over here and over here. I wouldn't be taking too many swing longs right here on the 4th. I'd be waiting to see what the market does. If it's able to hold the gains from the prior day. Look at an M15 chart here. Really nice, steady buying all of yesterday. We gapped down today, chugging along, hitting a little bit of resistance right over here on the day. Zoom into the M5 chart. Again, small gap down with just some profit taking. We filled in the gap fairly quickly, but it wasn't a strong move. It was a pretty weak move. Got a deep retracement to VWAP, and then we challenged this level here. So this tells us that we are in a very weak bullish trend. Oops. If I were to draw a very wide channel here intraday, right, you can see how it's getting pretty wide. New highs, but deep lows. So we want to enter on these market pullbacks, stocks that are relatively strong, and the market will surge up higher. We have confidence that the bottom won't fall out because we filled in the gap here, which is bullish. Probe for support over here, probe for support again, high or low, came up over here. So buyers aren't super aggressive, but there is still some of the move to be riding out. We know the price action, the buyers losing their grip on the price action. So day traders, I think this is a great day to still take some longs. There were some very nice breakouts, and be patient, wait for this bearish cycle to conclude. You can enter in on this bullish cross over here, find support at VWAP, and then we start to take off. Be prepared to weather some of these bumps as long as stocks are doing quite well. They're holding up the storm, grinding up higher nicely. You should be able to get some nice moves and ride out those day trades. Let's look at the picks from the last video. Okay, first one here, Netflix. Netflix made a pretty big move up yesterday. Today, it's just been holding the gains, digesting a lot of this move. There's some buyers here, some profit taking happening at 624. Buyers are scooping up this move down, so we have to be patient on Netflix. You can see here, big move up, pull back, right? This is a huge move here. Big move up, pull back, floats around, big move up. What do we expect it to do? Probably going to pull back. We got to give it some time. We have plenty of time before earnings. We are in shares, so we don't have to worry about any premium decay. And we have a very strong daily chart, so we're just going to ride the trend and take that full ATR move. Spot. Now, Spot broke over here, and it's actually continuing to move up higher today. And I added to Spot when I made a new high the day at 11:20 when the SPY was pulling back. Added again when the market pulled back again and Spot made another high of the day. Added one more time when the market was dipping down hard and spot was compressing near its high of the day again. This is really nice relative strength. And because I'm in shares, I have the sizing to add to my winners here. We're close to our profit target of a 1 ATR move around the $270 level. So any nice end of day move here, moving up, I believe we can take some nice profits on spot. It's doing what we wanted to do, so we added to it. That is very, very important. DG, big move up here, and we expected this to pause. There is some profit taking happening here. It's a choppy stock and makes big moves. Once this profit taking is digested, then we're going to get the next leg higher and try to fill in that gap. But until that happens, we're just waiting for DG to take its time to make its move higher. I'm an alert at the high of the day, forming some support over here at the low of the day. There's some buying going happening at this 470 this 147.50 level, but we're just going to give it time. We are not too worried about DG. So what are some nice picks that I liked today? First one that I liked a lot was IBM. Big move up from earnings, some volatility, long compression over here. You can see how it did find some support somewhere around this $183 level. Broke through the AVUAPQ today. Nice heavy buying and very, very bullish chart. You can see how it made a strong move here. Pull back to VWAP. Get in on that HA reversal alert on these stacked green candles. And stock has been compressing. There's been some profit taking, but also some buying to offset some of that. So IBM is a pretty nice one. I think if it can close above this high from the 26th today, it's a pretty good long. MS was one I liked earlier in the day. You can see here how it's pulling back, and we expect it to find some support on this horizontal resistance on the gap fill. We broke through the 50 SMA, broke this very long compression, and broke all the way through the gap. I really like this breakout pattern. This is a very tight compression, lots of support over here, lots of profit taking going on, lots of buyers bouncing out that to make a nice equilibrium. And then we broke through that on a very, very clean compression break. So it was excellent earlier in the day. Now the stock is pulling back. We're waiting to see where it finds support. DKNG was a nice one today as well. We have a nice bullish flag here. Post earnings volatility digested, and we're starting to move up higher. Strong move today, had some couple of retracements, and now it's gaining some relative strength. As you can see, it held all the gains while the market dipped. And we are kind of getting through some of this horizontal resistance over here. A couple of these levels. There's a high plus trend line, whereas it's extending from all the way back here. You can see how much credence you want to give that or not. But in any case, I like this nice setup. Some fairly tight price action, and does tend to move up higher. SMCI was added to the S&P 500. Big gap up today. There was a nice entry point around here early in the day, but I didn't have the pullback that I wanted to. You can see here now how the stock is pulling back. We're waiting for a good entry on a pick like that. Another day trading stock that I liked as well was QCOM. It was excellent on the first. Continues to move up higher over here. Was a decently steady grinder. Pulled back, move up higher, pull back, move up higher. Now the trend has been starting to wane out. So if I had to give a pick of the day, the one that I am in personally is MS. And I took the 88.87 put credit spread expiring for March 22nd. So why did I take a put credit spread on this sort of stock? So first of all, my market bias is bullish and my stock bias is bullish. But this negative earnings reaction and it has some not the strongest price action. It doesn't make massive moves, right? When it does have some follow through, and then it stalls for a bit. So what I like with MS is we have this move, we have some follow through, and I have an excellent, and this is the kind of stock where I can really take advantage of this time premium decay. I have lots of support in my favor, right? I have this gap fill support here at the $89 level. I have the 50 SMA, and I have this second layer of gap fill support coming right into play around the $90 level. So I have lots of support here. If it breaks through that and gets sucked back in the range, there's also support at this level. So there's a chance that we could, the worst case scenario, well, the worst case, the second worst case scenario, breaks through my PCS short strike of $88 and test the support, bounces back up. So I have a little bit of more backup in my favor. So that is the pick for today, the 8887 MSPCS. I'm going to add that to my picks, and we will take it from there. So we're still doing well in our picks. Spot looks like we may be able to take profits today. Netflix and DJ will need a little bit more time to cook, and MS makes a nice put credit spread. Thanks everyone for watching, and we'll take a look at how these picks are doing in tomorrow's video.